It had been a typical day. Just another day I thought I could survive without incident. I quickly got dressed, grabbed my bag, and headed out to the cafe where I was supposed to meet an old friend. It was the perfect timing, and after an easy 2-hour chat over coffee, I returned home, ready to rest and unwind. But as I approached my house, something felt off. A strange chill ran down my spine, and when I reached the doorstep, my heart skipped a beat. My belongings, all my precious items, were scattered across the yard. It was surreal, as though someone had thrown my entire life out in front of me. The worst part wasn't just the sight of my stuff on the ground. It was the fact that there was a tent set up in the middle of my yard. I stood frozen in place for a moment, trying to process what was happening. This had to be some kind of joke. My family could never do something like this. Or could they? My thoughts raced as I processed the unimaginable sight before me. It felt like a dream, but it was all too real. I pushed open the door and stepped inside. "What is going on here?" I demanded, my voice trembling with anger and disbelief. "Don't make such a loud noise at this hour," came a voice from behind me, followed by a snicker. It was my sister. She stood in the doorway, her husband beside her, both of them wearing smug, condescending smiles. "We're making your study our bedroom. You're old enough, you should be independent by now." My chest tightened as their words hit me like a punch. I had always tried to keep my cool, but this was too much. How could they do this to me, especially in such a cruel, disrespectful way? I tried to control my rising anger, but I could feel the heat of frustration building within me. "I can't believe this. You have no right to throw my things out like this. What do you think you're doing?" "We think it's time for you to move out. You're depending on Mom and Dad too much. You should find your own place." My sister's voice was dripping with sarcasm, as though she was doing me some kind of favor. I stood there, boiling with anger, but trying my best not to explode. If I lashed out now, they would just blame me for the whole situation. So I bit my tongue and silently began to gather my things, one by one, off the grass. My sister and her husband stood by, laughing at me like I was some sort of joke. "By the way, your parents are away on a spa trip. They won't be back until the day after tomorrow, so enjoy your time in the tent." My hands shook with frustration, but I forced myself to remain calm. I didn't say another word to them as I gathered my belongings and left the house. My anger didn't subside, but I knew that at least for now, I needed to get out of that toxic environment. I checked into a nearby hotel, hoping for some peace of mind. But as I checked my phone, I saw multiple missed calls from my parents. They had apparently been sent on a surprise spa trip by my sister and her husband. It was all part of their plan to get rid of me. I couldn't stand it anymore. The lies, the manipulation, and the constant disrespect. I couldn't let them get away with it. I needed to make them realize just how wrong they were. I decided to call my parents. They answered the phone with excitement, clearly thrilled about their surprise trip. But I had no time for pleasantries. "Mom, Dad, I'm sorry to call so late, but I need to show you something. Please take a look at the photos I'm about to send." "What are these photos?" my mother asked, her voice laced with confusion. "This looks like our yard. Who would do such a thing?" I felt a pang of sadness as I explained what had happened. "After you left, my sister and her husband threw everything from my study out into the yard. They even set up a tent, like I'm supposed to live out there." There was a long silence on the other end. I could hear the shock in their voices when they finally spoke. "What? They did that?" My mom sounded appalled. "Yes, they did. This isn't the first time either. It's been going on for years now, ever since I decided to live with you after the divorce. But this was the last straw." For a moment, it seemed like my parents didn't know what to say. I could sense the wheels turning in their minds. They knew about my sister's past, about the things she had done, but the fact that she was pregnant now seemed to change their perception of her. They were willing to overlook everything in favor of supporting her, maybe out of guilt, or because they believed she had changed. But not me. I had reached my limit. "We'll talk to her, Erica. Where are you staying?" My dad's voice was calm, but I could hear the concern behind it. I'm staying at a hotel. I don't know what to do right now. Okay, we'll be in touch, my mom reassured me. But nothing could ease the hurt I felt. Over the next few days, I remained at the hotel, avoiding my sister's calls and texts. After a month, I returned home. I had decided that I couldn't let them win. I walked into the house with purpose. My sister and her husband were sitting in the living room, their eyes wide with surprise when they saw me. "What's going on? Why are you back?" my sister asked, her voice dripping with disbelief. "I'm back because I have something important to discuss with you." I didn't waste time with pleasantries. "I'm planning to sell the house," I said firmly. "So, you two need to pack your things and leave." Their faces twisted with disbelief. "What? Are you serious? We're not leaving. This is our house now," my sister snapped. But I wasn't backing down. "No, this is my house, and I bought it with my own money. Here's the deed." I pulled out the land title and handed it to them. They stared at it, their expressions shifting from shock to panic. "Why would you sell the house?" my sister asked, clearly desperate. "I wasn't planning to sell it, but you two made me change my mind. You've crossed a line, and I'm not going to tolerate it any longer." They stammered, trying to find words, but I wasn't interested in their excuses. I was done. "I'll say it again," I continued, my voice cold and steady. "You need to pack your things and leave. I'm done letting you walk all over me." Just then, my parents arrived. My sister rushed to my mom, acting as though she had been wronged. "Mom, Erica came home and said she's selling the house. We have to leave now. She's gone crazy." But my parents were on my side. They had already heard the full story from me, and their faces showed nothing but disappointment as they looked at my sister and her husband. "We knew about this," my dad said quietly, his tone unforgiving. "Erica told us what happened when we were away. We didn't want to interfere, but now, this is too much." My sister and her husband looked defeated, but there was no sign of remorse. They hadn't apologized, and it seemed like they never would. "I'm done with you," I said, looking at them with cold determination. "If you don't want to leave, I'll make you. You'll regret this." It wasn't long before my sister and her husband had no choice but to pack up and move out. They found a small apartment, but it was a far cry from the luxury they had been used to. They had to settle for shared bathrooms and old, run-down apartments. But by then, I no longer cared. I didn't sell the house. Instead, I rented it out. It was a smart move financially, and it allowed me to distance myself from my sister and her husband completely. My parents and I moved into a new downtown apartment far away from the drama. As for my sister, I'm not sure what will become of her. But I know one thing. She's made her choices, and now she'll have to live with them. I'll continue to live my life, grateful for the love and support my parents have given me. I'll never be like my sister. I've learned too much from her mistakes to follow her path. And as for her future, I can't say I'm concerned. Not anymore.